If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
John Keating.
How are you? Still dreaming about getting back to the major leagues. That's how I am. Pedro delivers a slider into the dirt, count evens 1-1. I miss having the best seat in the house and making every single moment come alive for people. Fastball misses just low. That one is way back there. Yeah. Feels like you're a slice of apple in America's favorite kind of pie. That's either out of here or lost inside my wife's big, fat, Keating vagina. Seriously, though, I do miss it. Welcome to
Soul of Detroit, John Keating.
You acid around your Detroit, out of my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might qualify them, Mel.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now, Al?
Hey kids, it's your old pal, ML Elric, back with the Soul of Detroit. Marc Fellhauer's here.
Hello.
He's as reliable as Michigan weather and twice as hot.
Oh, I like that. What an intro.
And sticky, which...
Well, that is definitely true. I'll give you that.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know any more than that. We have a special guest here, a couple of them actually. My daughter Sophie is here. She's going to join us a little later to talk about the Emmys and to show off some of our sweet Soul of Detroit swag. She's got the hockey jersey, which is out of print, but if somebody, wants to send us a shitload of dough, we'll... They're almost as cool as the Red Wings Centennial jerseys, which, having the greatest jersey in all of sports, we always seem to have the lamest bonus jersey, but this one seems like it's not too bad. And the star of the show, not Jim Brockmeyer, although I think they used to work together, is John Keating, who you know from the Red Wings, the Tigers, from pretty much the glory days of our Detroit sports teams and the tragic days. He's figured maybe he's the curse. He's going to get out of there and let him win a World Series or something. John, is that your fault? What's going on over there?
It's pretty much. Nothing has made me, I guess, more prickly than to see the Tigers do so well right after I left, because I've told people it seemed like a bunch of years I was just making stuff up on TV for a half hour, encouraging people as to why they should watch the games, and knowing in my heart it wasn't going to go so well. And now to see, what they enjoyed last year and what they're about to enjoy, I think this year is great stuff.
I think Mike Stone went through the same thing with the Lions when he retired from 97-1. It's like all those years, and here they're going to do. But you brought us a bunch of Stanley Cups, so we got no complaints about that.
Yeah, it's one of my great joys, having covered the 4 Stanley Cup wins and to be part of the parades and the parties and all of that kind of stuff, and getting to know some of the principles that were a big part of those teams and that joy. I mean, because I moved. I mean, I know we're going to get into this at some point, but I started in Grand Rapids and then moved to Denver, and I was working with the Avalanche in '96 when they won the Stanley Cup, and certainly they had the war with Detroit, and then the next year I come to Detroit, and so I was a part of 3 Stanley Cups in a row, the one the Avalanche won, and then '97 and '98 in Detroit. I thought it was all me, but they took me around the Red Wings dressing room when I first got to Detroit, and Kris Draper, as we all know, is a terrific guy, and he's being friendly, and he said, "Where are you moving from?" And I said, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. And finally I did, and we had a chuckle about that. But it was cool being on both sides of that. But certainly the feeling in Detroit, and I think we're predating some members of the audience, but the feeling in Detroit when the Wings were on their way to winning the Cup in '97 was as good as anything you could imagine. And then the Tigers got some of that when they had the World Series in '06, because it had been forever since they were part of that. And then to see the Lions go through that last season, it's you can't replicate that stuff. It's more special when something that good hasn't been done in a good long while.
If you're one of our Patreon subscribers and you're watching us, you can see John signed Denver Broncos helmet over one shoulder, and then his Red Wings jersey over the other shoulder.
Yeah.
And,
it looks like a John Elway signature, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, is
it?
It
is, yeah. Okay. It is. Yeah, get it, and that going to the Super Bowl with the Broncos was was very cool. My time in Denver was terrific. But I tell again, this is again part of the history. But I was working as a sports anchor at the CBS station in Denver, and as can happen in this business, new management came in, and my contract was getting close to being up, and I thought everything was fine, and then everything wasn't fine. They said, we're going to let you go, and I was just crushed. But my message to any young person listening or watching is, just when you think you're at your lowest, and I was leveled by this, good stuff can happen. It got me back home to Detroit, where I grew up, and onto to a regional sports network, and things turned out terrific. 29 years in Detroit before I decided to call it quits.
So you had a Super Bowl with the Broncos. You had the Stanley Cup with the Rockies. Not with the Rockies, with the Avalanche. Did you do any Rockies games? Because I know they had some good moments. I know they had a great hockey player in Larry Walker playing Hall of Fame baseball. It's kind of an interesting mix.
Yeah, the Colorado Rockies hockey team was before I got there. Yeah. So the Quebec Nordiques moved to Colorado to become the Avalanche. But I was there for the birth of the Rockies. I went to their first ever game in Bend, Oregon, because they had an expansion draft, but they also had a draft where they had some kids, and so the first game in Rockies history was as a Class A team in Bend, Oregon, which was sensational. But then once the Rockies came about, there were 76,000 people at Mile High Stadium for the first Rockies game, and because there was that kind of interest in Denver for the Rockies and in all of Colorado, they ended up expanding the what they wanted to do for Coors Field. So it was a typical 42,000 seat stadium when it was in the plans. But because of how well they were drawing at Mile High Stadium, they added another 8,000. So Coors Field can hold, or could hold at the time, 50,000 seats, and they filled them most of the time.
Not this season. They make last year's White Sox look pretty good. But
they're actually drawing okay. I saw a staggering number. In spite of their record and their lack of success, they still do okay at the gate.
Wow. Well, God bless them, because things rebound. I mean, you've seen the Tigers go to the World Series twice. You've seen them almost set a record for worst team in baseball, probably at least twice. And throughout it all, you got to hold that audience. And you said off the top that there were times when you were, we would call it tap dancing in TV news, where it's like, well, nothing's running, nothing's working, the video's not feeding, but you got to keep filling the air. How do you do that? Because I know when it's 19-0, people want to switch, and I'm sure there's a producer saying, "Tell them something, take your shirt off, do something. We got to keep these guys because."
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think you become sort of used to that. That's that can be draining, but it can also be exciting. And I think that's one of the things that sort of kept me around for a while, because I was I had the ability to do that. All right, this isn't happening. Let's go here and talk about this. And there was one story I'll share with you. The Red Wings were on the road, and we're in, I think it was Ottawa. And Don Cherry was part of whatever pregame ceremony they were doing. And so we had what's called anthem fill, where the pregame host will go, backstage or into the hallway and fill the time when the anthem, so you're not caught right in the middle of the anthem. And of course, in Canada, there's the two anthems.
Right.
So you're back telling a story or throwing to soundbite or something like that to fill the anthem, so you're not the people don't come back from commercial in the middle of the anthem, which is disrespectful. So I'm back there doing that. Well, then Don Cherry picked up the mic on the ice in Ottawa and was telling stories, so we couldn't go back to him. So it was probably I don't know, 8 minutes or something like that I just had to talk. And I still remember that as being absolutely exhausting, because you're, all right, here's the standings. All right, let's talk about this guy now. And so you're by yourself. You can't go to the guys in the booth because they're hearing the in-house audio. Those kinds of stories, sort of stick with you for a while.
When the team's bad, I mean, it must be kind of freeing. You can do whatever you want if you feel like no one's watching. But when the team's good and the crowd is packed, you probably every once in a while had, maybe especially on the road, an opposing fan maybe grab a mic or grab a hat or jump and try to interrupt the broadcast. I remember that happened to Mickey Redmond in Pittsburgh. He really got into it with a fan at Pittsburgh. Did that ever happen to you, John, where a fan was very distracting?
We certainly had them. We certainly had fans that would say things. I would tell people, because our set at Comerica Park was right on the concourse, right between home and first base, and so we had lots of people standing in front of us, staring at us, and they still do. It's not just me, but they still do. But you feel like the fish in the doctor's office aquarium. I mean, they're tapping on the glass like, all right, entertain us, monkeys, and so I would tell people, it's like, hey, as you walk by, feel free to wave. Just make sure you use all your fingers. And that seemed to and I would say those things, and the producer in my ear say, "Oh no, you can't say that." Well, that's part of living on the edge, I think, and the charm, and I think people like watching, not being sure what's coming next.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
When the team isn't doing well, Marc said, you can do whatever you want, but do you ever get either the station or the ownership of the team saying, John, you got to do something to bring these numbers up? And you're like, well, why don't you re-sign Verlander? Why don't you bring back Scherzer? Why don't you get somebody who can hit the ball? What am I supposed to do? How much pressure is put on you to try and get people to watch something that most objective people would say may not be the most compelling thing on TV at that moment?
There was zero pressure, and that was from our bosses. I mean, we would try to be as compelling as we could, entertaining as we could, but we're fully aware that the numbers for pregame and postgame, I guess, were attached to how the team was doing, and so there wasn't any particular degree of pressure. All the pressure was internal. I mean, me with the producer saying, hey, what about this? What if we did this? Or, it's like, can we do this? Yeah, we can do that, and so we would have some fun and, try to do some, some interesting, offbeat things, I think, sometimes to entertain people. If we're on the road, we would go to in Pittsburgh, we'd go make a sandwich at, the legendary sandwich place, or in Philly, we'd go make cheesesteaks, or in Seattle, we'd, go to the fish market, those kinds of things that people seem to enjoy, that would sort of, be a part of what the team was involved with, but also, something that's entertaining, that's going to take them away from perhaps a season that's not going as well as we would have hoped.
There's been quite a few of those. When you came from Denver,
well, you cling to the bummer, don't you? I mean, you just live on the bleak side. How do you get up in the morning? What the hell?
I'm mostly Irish, so.
Oh my God! Well, me too. But
when the sun's shining, I'm worried about skin cancer.
Yeah, right.
But when you came from Denver to Detroit, do you have any insights on Claude LeMieux? I know that's he's kind of a villain here, and I know that he and McCarty have made their peace, and I don't know if Draper has or not. But you go the transition like that, to jump in the middle of a rivalry like that, and 1 minute you could be telling people, boy, I'll tell you what, that Draper's got to take some responsibility for getting his face in front of that fist, and then the next week you're like, that Claude LeMieux is I mean, how do you manage that? That feels like a tightrope.
Yeah, I mean, and I wasn't doing the same job in Denver with the Avalanche, so I was there when it happened, and from the Colorado side, it was just it was unfortunate. I mean that's the way that they looked at it. Obviously, there was much more ill will attached to that, and as I understand it, Drapes and LeMieux have had to deal with each other because LeMieux is an agent now, and Drapes is in the front office for the Red Wings, and so it's not just hockey players, but particularly hockey players. Those that get through those days and move on. I mean, because you have guys you were absolute war with. I mean, Bob Probert and Joey Kocur were teammates and then non-teammates and would fight each other. And even Kocur told the story, and I'll share this with you. I'm doing a podcast now with Chris Osgood, Ozzy and Keats, available wherever podcasts are found. And Kocur said when Probert was in Chicago, they were still, and Joey was out of the league. And so Joey told the story of getting together with Probert, that Blackhawks were coming into play in Detroit, and Kocur told Proby, "Hey, I need you to get in a fight tonight," because Kocur wanted a job. And so, sure enough, Probert got in a fight with one of the Red Wings, and Scotty Bowman called Kocur's agent the next day, and then he told him to get in shape. And Joey Kocur became a part of the team that won the Stanley Cup in '97.
Wow, that's incredible.
So the players, I guess, are able to sort of separate themselves from what happens on the field. And guys in baseball will get drilled by a pitch, and then you become teammates with that guy that drilled you, and it's just part of the game, and you have to understand that, and you have to move on, and it's not personal, I guess, even though it seems extremely, extremely personal at the time.
Since Elric wants to focus on the negative, I'll focus on some of the positive.
Thank God, Mark.
When you're behind the desk, though, you don't get to celebrate in the locker room. I mean, have you been in a locker room celebration where you got champagne and beer?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, you have?
Because we, I guess when the games get to the playoff stage, they're on a national level, and so we would be covering. We would do a post-game show on cable on Fox Sports Detroit or Bally Sports or now FanDuel, and so yes, we would be a part of that, and so I've had lots of clothing ruined by champagne. You take it to the dry cleaner the next day, and then they said, we'll try, we'll see what happens.
So worth
we
it,
can't
though.
guarantee anything. Yeah.
Any celebration more memorable than the other, either in Denver or here?
Yeah, definitely here, I think. I mean, just the the Red Wing celebrations were spectacular, but again, the ones that happened, it was especially '97, especially the Tigers in '06, and I'm sure they don't do it in football, and there's some feeling like even the hockey players look at the baseball celebrations after you've clinched. It's like, well, wait a minute, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. Baseball, you have like 5 celebrations when you clinch. When you win each round. It's like it's a little bit of overkill.
Hockey players look at that and say, you haven't won anything. Yeah, let's pump the brakes on that. So the '06 baseball celebration when the Tigers beat the Twins at the Metrodome, and Jim Leland was picked up by Torrey Hunter and brought back into the clubhouse, and then did the moonwalk back to his office, and as the champagne is flying. I mean, that's the stuff that sticks with you, and the Wings winning the cup in Washington, and I remember coming on live on the air and sticking my mic in a scrum with Nicholas Lidstrom, only to discover that he was speaking Swedish to a Swedish reporter. It's like, whoops, all right, I might have heard a few words of Swedish, but not enough to translate, and then you just kind of say, "Uh-oh." So there's a lot of those "uh-oh" moments.
And one of those moments would have to be when expletives fly by. How many times have you said, We apologize for any untoward language you might have heard.
Yeah, more than a handful. I mean, and I think what I liked was that I had some degree of relationship with most of the players that I would interview, and I would just kind of give them, just like whoa, and they would kind of realize that maybe not at that point, but I think people understand the raw emotion of those moments, and they could. It wasn't anything that really sort of stuck. We could move past it because, of how, what the degree of delight was being shared by really a brotherhood. So,
were there any moments where you were caught up in something and you're like, oh boy, I wish I could take that back, or how that was some really good stuff. Where did I come up with that? Because I mean, I imagine you have some talking points, and I know there's show prep and notes,
the former, but not the latter.
But I mean, you're kind of flying without a navigator.
Well, part of, and I'm a great fan of your writing, ML, and but it's also something that I've liked to do, and I think when I speak to broadcasting classes, it's my first message to them. Work on your writing. If you can write, there's a dearth of great writing on television. More and more these days, they're presenters rather than hosts. And so I always wanted to work on the writing, and I'm fortunate to win a couple of Emmys for the writing aspect of TV, which is probably most appreciated by me. So yeah, sometimes when I could turn a phrase or get people to laugh with the way that I wrote, that's when it feels best, I think. So did I go some places that I probably shouldn't have? Yeah. So
good.
So how do you find out about that? I mean, because I've told this story on this show before where I was obviously bottom of the barrel choice to fill in on the morning show at Fox 2 during the holidays, and we started talking about mistletoe, and somebody was asking, I think it was Lee Thompson, what do you think about mistletoe? Does that seem like it's a scam, or is that guys trying to get over? And I said, I think the mistletoe's fine. Just watch out for the guys with the mistletoe belts. And I thought it was really funny. And then
joke.
And then the next morning, they're like, hey, we can't have any more mistletoe belt comments. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, we have children watching. I'm like, yeah, right. At 6 a.m, the day after Christmas, nobody's watching, let alone children, unless you're going to show cartoons.
I'm watching.
But yes, Sophie was watching, but she wasn't offended, as far as I know. And you still have a tuition bill, so don't say anything.
She wouldn't have told you back then.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been right back to community college. But sometimes you don't know that something hit somebody until they call or a producer calls you.
I know. And
people are worried about stuff now.
Why are you bringing up bad memories?
Well, these are the best stories, right? It's the brushes with death. Every red light you go through and survive, nobody cares about. When you're upside down, they stop and stare.
Well, I'll share this story with a podcast. So when Chris Osgood started on TV, he was I don't know how well you guys know him, but he's kind of shy and quiet, until you get to know him. And I learned pretty early on that if I could get him to laugh in the first 30 seconds, he would settle right down. And he would be engaged at that point, and he would start paying attention to what I was saying and those kinds of things. And one of the first shows I did, either Jimmy Howard or the Tigers had this very unusual record of 9, 8, and 5 or something like that. And what I said was the Red Wings have a record much like some people would rate the Dixie Chicks, 9, 8, and 5, and which I thought was a very fun line at the time, and it got Ozzy's attention, and he still talks about that line as sort of pulling him into TV. Now, we certainly couldn't do that line now, and I've apologized for it. But there wasn't social media then, or it wasn't as it is now, and so
is that the reason you wouldn't be able to do it now? Not because sensibilities have changed, but because social media will spread that everywhere, and then someone would demand you get fired.
Probably, yeah, probably the social media aspect of it. I mean, and my sensibilities have changed. I wouldn't, I wouldn't say that line on TV now, nor should anyone. But at the time, it was more allowed than it is now, and I knew it was something that I could get to make Ozzy laugh, and sort of continuing that. When we were in the studio, we would have a teleprompter, and so. And that's the way that I like to write. I mean, a lot of the pop culture references and things like that. And I've told this story many times, but the issue is that Ozzy would be reading the teleprompter ahead before I would get to the funny line, and he would start giggling before I could deliver the line, which would make me start giggling, and thus the line never got frickin' delivered because he messed it up because he's reading ahead in the on the teleprompter before my attempt at humor, and so it would just go nowhere, and I'd be sour at him for the rest of the night. So,
well, I will say, and I'll argue this with anybody, he deserves to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. The Broadcasting Hall of Fame, if they keep him out, I'm not ready to light myself in fire in front of it in protest. But he's a benevolent presence, I would say. I think a lot of heavy lifting is done by the partner in these jock and professional type broadcast sittings.
Yeah. Well, he's the only goalie with 400 wins who's not in the Hall of Fame. And so, I mean, and I get that he played on very good teams. I understand that. Mike Vernon just got into the Hall of Fame at the age of 62. And in fact, Mike Vernon is our guest on the Ozzy and Keats podcast, and so this week actually, and so we had a chance to go down that memory lane of what it was like, and Vernie getting in and Ozzy not yet, and those kinds of things, and so but he's come a long way. Ozzy's his ability to talk hockey and tell stories. I've maintained that aside from the games, when it was. Mickey Redmond and Chris Osgood and myself on the post-game show, that's as good a TV as we would put on TV aside from the games. Just to get Mick and Ozzy telling stories, whether it was about that hockey game or hockey in general or just life in general or just growing up, or Mick back in Peterborough when he was growing up. That's what people seem to really gravitate toward and really enjoy. And that's the part I think that I'll miss, and I think viewers will miss as well.
And you can find it, Ozzy and Keats, on YouTube, and I know the Twitter handle is at Ozzy and Keats. And then you have your own personal Twitter handle, which I hate looking at your Twitter, John. It's at John Keating TV, and the reason I hate looking at it is because retirement looks so fucking fun. Because I swear, every night there's a picture of the sunset on the west side of the state. I'm like, God damn, I want to retire.
I know it's I mean, we have a home right on Lake Michigan, and so we're blessed to have it, and so and that's what I've done for the last few years, but certainly more so lately because I've got a chance to do it, and I'm here more than I used to be. But half of my friends will say, "Oh, dude, we love your sunset pictures. Oh, we can't wait to see your sunset." The other half say, "Dude, stop it. We get it with the fucking sunset pictures. Yeah. Stop it with the sunset pictures."
But you also have a TV. You have a TV on your deck too, right? I think I noticed the TV on one of your shots.
I do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, that gets covered. And
I'm going to retire and move in with you.
He's got the sunset on one view and then the White Lotus on the other.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So, John, when you work with these athletes, do they have much training and much prep? Do they come in and say, "Okay, John, what do I do?" Or do they just come in and say, "Hey, Keats, just don't get my shot. I got this. No, this is Chelly here, buddy. Come on now."
Yeah, no. Well, almost. I mean, everybody that I've worked with has come in with some degree of humility because they don't know what they don't know, and it's true for all of us when we get started in TV. So, I think you just give them the chance to talk. You sort of the challenge of being the host is setting them up as well as you can and allowing them to share their expertise as to why something should happen or why something did happen, and then get out of the way. That's the ultimate goal, and try to be have some fun with it at the same time. At least that was my approach over time. Everybody's got a different way of doing it, but that was my approach. And even Ozzy has said it's just like, all right, well, even if the team is in a stretch where they're struggling, we're going to be entertaining, and so that would be our goal to keep people watching right up to game time.
So I've skated with some former Red Wings, and it's very humbling, but I want to get them over to the newspaper so they can get nervous around me, and I can say, well, this is how you type. I know you got some pretty nice rings on there, but I didn't really see a file of your story.
Is that the escape key that you use there, or how do you delete that? How do you copy and cut and paste that paragraph
exactly
from up there to down there? Yeah.
Do you even know what an abstract is?
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Here's how you upload a photo, Hall of Famer. Nice job there. We only use 3 dots in an ellipsis, not 4. And of course, for the Canadian guys, there's no U in color. Come on, what's going on, pal?
I know. Yeah.
Humble their ass up really fast.
Yeah.
But by
But
golly,
they've made lots
they'll
of
keep it in
dollars.
glamour.
Yeah, it is still in Glamour. Which isn't that George Costanza's favorite magazine?
Glamour, yeah. That's a good reference.
I don't know. It's
Glamour?
Yeah, it's just
Glamour? Yeah.
using his body like an amusement park. But well, John, it's great to have you on here. I know that you are not the one holding the Tigers back. Maybe they just were self-conscious being in the presence of such a great man, and now that you're gone, they can relax and get back to winning baseball.
Well, that's not not true at all. But I watch the games. You mentioned the TV on the deck. I'm still a fan of the teams, and because I was so invested in them for so long, you want them to do well, and so we'll see. I mean, I covered AJ Hinch as a player in Detroit in 2003, and just to continue the theme we started with, that's if I live to be 1,000, the fact that they almost set the record for the most losses in a baseball season in 2003, and then 3 years later they're playing in the World Series, is still remarkable, phenomenal. And the town was absolutely on fire, similar to what they felt like in '97, and similar to what Lions fever is these days.
Well, if you want to hear more, John, check out the Ozzy and Keats podcast. We're going to have more with John for our Patreon subscribers in our bonus episode. And as an added bonus, John was talking about great writing. Somebody he didn't mention was Shawn Windsor. He'll be there with us, too, in the bonus episode.
Oh, dear God. Oh, no. We don't need that.
We may have to give refunds. No. But John, thanks for coming on. And I'm sure
thanks, guys.
If there's a parade, you'll be at the front of it. At least you should be.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
John's enjoying his retirement, but if you'd like to have that same luxury, and I heard he sent 2 kids to Notre Dame, he must have had some good financial planning, because that ain't cheap. You want to call Luke Nowacki, because football season is here, and if your plan for retirement is to hit an 8-leg parlay, maybe you should call or text Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. After that fails, because you know it will, because it always does.
Oh, I thought we were calling him for his advice on a parlay.
I think his advice would be bet $1 and then call me and Zach so we can use the rest of your paycheck wisely. Or maybe you call him before you place that long shot and use that dollar more wisely. The key to long-term investing is to have less anxiety in the markets than Maz has in the Sparty concourse, and that's a lot of anxiety. But when you call Luke and Zach, this much I can guarantee you. They'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc.
But until you retire, you got to have some good times, and we recommend that you go to the Caju Cafe. Great place, great times, great fun, and great food. Wednesday, it's karaoke. Thursday, it's the Jazz Jam with the Bill Meyer Group. The Undefeated, Walking Down Main. The Sox Jocks. Is that some sort of, is that a Red Hot Chili Peppers thing? I don't know about that, but go and see.
Gross.
Friday, Django and Funky Diesel. Saturday, Huckleberry Groove, Danny D and the Vagabonds. Sunday, Steve Wood Quintet, Red September, and Conrad Lee. Monday, it's Tasha Owens and the Stable Dudes Open Jam. And, of course, it's Muscle Madness, all you can eat mussels. There's great times, great fun. Go out in the beer garden, hit Muscle Beach, go to the garage bar, just go there, and maybe you'll even meet my kid, Sophie, who you're going to hear from in a little while later, talking about the Emmys. But to find out all the good things that are going on at the Caju Cafe, go to cajucafe.com. And when you get there, tell them ML sent you. But don't tell them I'm picking up the tab, just today. just
Oh, man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
Oh, okay. I need to tell you to listen very closely to everything I'm about to say, because I don't want to get misconstrued and I don't want to get people losing their shit. But things are very hot in our country right now. We do not need to turn up the heat. We do need to treat each other better. We do need to be respectful. And when somebody in blue falls, we need to feel bad. And when somebody in red falls, we need to feel bad. And when somebody in green and lavender and whatever the hell else you're wearing falls, we should feel bad because we've lost a life.
It's amazing that you even have to say that.
Well, this is one of these things where you're saying shit that should be plain as day, but saying, I don't want somebody to come losing their shit on me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, my Geek of the Week is J.D. Vance, because this is a man who should be leading our country, who's smart enough to be leading our country, who could be the next leader of the free world. And instead of saying, people, let's respect each other, he is going to use the strength of the government to come down on liberal groups. Well, okay, if they did something wrong, fair enough. But I did not hear him say that he was going to use the strength of the government to come down on conservative groups after those lawmakers in Minnesota were assassinated. So it's not because he's coming down on one group. It's not because he's not coming down on both groups. It's because right now we need to just calm down, not come down, figure out what the hell we're doing. Because right now in this country, what we're finding out is a lot of people who started the fire are getting burned. And it's time for us to put out the flames and to treat each other a little better. And if you don't get that, I'm sorry. Listen to it again. Think about it. And if you're still mad, then maybe it ain't JD. Maybe you're our Geek of the Week.
See you again.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
I think I'm going to have to duck when I leave the studio. We have a note here from our old pal, Mr. Magoo, with another 7609 suggestion. Magoo says, your recent show reminiscing about high school reminded me of an early 80s Detroit band, and I love this band, and I love this song, so Magoo, God bless you. It's Bittersweetality. He says, I know you like the story behind the story, so here goes. Coming of age in the blue-collar town of Warren in the early 80s oftentimes meant that musical entertainment was limited to the radio and seeing bands play at school dances. Or maybe at the Ritz over there on Gratiot.
Ritz and Roseville.
And Roseville, of course, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, most of those bands weren't very good. I cringed way too many times to lame versions of Smoke on the Water than I care to recall. But there was one band that was different, Bittersweetality, a.k.a. BSA. The band was made up of a group of guys from my school, Warren Mott. Not only were they good, but they played their own songs, one of which, A Time to Move, got significant airplay on Detroit radio. I mean, I remember hearing it on Riff. I think I even made some national waves. This was back in a time when programming decisions were made locally and not by some out-of-touch West Coast suit who was oblivious to the Motor City rock vibe. And getting airplay was paramount to success, launching artists to superstardom like Detroit's own Bob Seger and honorary Detroiters, the Jay Giles bands, which BSA got to open up for during their 5-night run at Pine Knob. Jay Giles really, they get the key to the city, no doubt. Mm-hmm. And while BSA never exactly became superstars, to a teenage kid hearing his schoolmate's song played on the radio alongside the likes of Seger and Jay Giles, well, it sure felt as if they were. Peace out, Magoo. And here's BSA with what Shawn says every time the show goes long. It's time to move. And then he tells us a crazy story that keeps us here. Take it away, boys.
Well, I It's time to move.
If you like Detroit rock, I mean, Bittersweet Alley, man, I love it if one of our soulmates or somebody who wants to become a soulmate, if you can tell me where that video was shot, you can see the skyline there. Somebody's got to recognize that neighborhood. But I love, of course, you know, the fur coat. They're doing a video in the snow. It's almost like the Let It Be album, Michigan style. It's got to be outside. It's got to be cold.
It's like a Dietrich Fur ad.
From the Dietrich family. What a great tune. So, Mr. Magoo.
Oh, Magoo, you've done it again.
So please send us your songs and your stories to mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. We love them. And Magoo, it's always good to see you out and about. Thank you for sharing your very erudite music tastes with us here in room 7609. And now this is the shortest segment of the show, sadly, where we thank our new donors, either those who have made a one-time donation by going mlsoulofdetroit.com and hitting the Venmo or the PayPal button, or who have signed up through Patreon to support us all at once or a little bit every month, because nobody has signed up. Oh. But I got to ask you guys, since we're talking about
sad. That's my fault, probably.
Money. I was in East Lansing on Saturday, and some guys wanted to, they were parking in an illegal area, and I said, you know what? Don't park there, park here, because you're going to get a ticket. And they said, well, how much? I said, just $20 each. So they had 2 cars. So they said, okay. They said, I said, you don't have any cash? I said, no. I said, do you guys do Venmo, Cash App, PayPal? I was like, no, how about Apple Pay? And I said, okay, yeah, Apple Pay's fine. So I give them my number. They send me $40 for the 2 cars. It pops up. And then when I get in the stadium, it says transaction declined. The 40. Is this a scam that people do with Apple Pay? Have you ever seen this?
I don't know, but you look like an easy mark.
Oh my God! So now I got their number. So I sent back a note that said, "Hey, this didn't go through. If this was an accident, please resend it." And I sent them a request on Apple Pay to their phone number for the $40. Nothing.
You never got it?
Nothing. And while they're there,
so what quarter did you have the cars towed?
I didn't because they know where we live. I don't want to. get them back for cheating me out of $40 and have them smash it out a window of my house, and then I'm out $1,000.
Next time you do that and you get the cash, immediately transfer it to your bank.
Well, no, it didn't come through. It looked like it did through Apple Pay. Can you send money through Apple Pay and then resend it?
Apparently you can, but
they send it and then you do a bank transfer and then it takes a couple business days.
I don't know.
No, you can do an immediate if you pay a small fee, which of course you would not have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We still got ads on Netflix.
But it would have cost you probably a buck and change to do an immediate transfer. But $38 would have been better than nothing.
Well said, sir. And $5 a month is better than nothing. So please become one of our soulmates. I know you loved the advice episode we did with Erica Erickson, which just posted. That's fantastic. If you don't want to pay us every month for that, just buy it a la carte. Go to our website. You'll figure out how to do it. And we're going to have a new bonus episode posting soon with our extended conversation with John Keating. What a great guy. And lots of Shawn Windsor stories in there with old Keats.
Awesome.
So it's two magnificent gentlemen.
It's good to be back.
And then Shawn and Keats were there
It's good to be back.
And then they started fighting. With fists were going crazy. So
By the way, for mid-September, you guys are awfully pasty. Did you just not get out in the sun this summer, or was the tan just kind of thin?
Why are you judging
this
me?
year? I'm not judging you at all. I'm pasty too.
It must be the lighting, because I was staring in the sun at Spartan Stadium. I thought I was going to melt.
Yeah.
But you guys have been inside all summer, huh?
I've been in a basement my whole life.
Okay.
That's what it feels like.
Okay. Wait, Mike's putting the glasses on.
Because I have to read some feedback from our.
That was my story. I got nothing else. Are we done?
All right.
No. We got to catch up with Shawn and Sophie. Sophie, who was very, very late to the Walton Goggins party, is now leading the band. So we got to get as people know, anything Walton Goggins related, we got to get into big.
Not really.
I have to stop you. I don't know what you mean by late to the Walton Goggins party, because I've been on it since the beginning. But It wasn't, but not as Walton Goggins, but he started as something different.
But were you watching The Shield? I don't even know if you were born when The Shield came on. And then Shawn was watching Vice Principals, and I would watch Justified. And when Justified was on, Sophie's like, "Is that the Forehead Show?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
That is my infamous introduction to Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
I said, "This is that Forehead Show."
So she's catching up. But let's hear some feedback from our listeners, because we're going to go through it quick. Because Marc, this one's for you, brother. Because you're the true crime guy. You're not exactly true crime, but you're right up there with him. Evan writes, "Hey ML, Marc, have you heard about this new podcast? I'm sure you know the case. It's called No One Knows, and it's a deep dive into the case of Joanne Matouk Romaine."
Mm-hmm.
And this is
you kissing the mic?
Well, I mean, the new it's a whole story.
That's your new thing?
I don't want to get into it. Let the man continue.
Sorry,
So,
I was taken aback by you making out with the mic over there.
This is somebody
it's new studio stuff.
This is somebody trying to find out about the death of a mother of three who went missing after attending a prayer service in Grosse Pointe Farms. She was found later in the water of Canada with no water in her lungs. This has been investigated by a lot of people. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been solved. One of her relatives never stops pinging me with, "You're going to get your next Pulitzer on this story. I'm going to tell you the whole thing." I'm like, well, the last Pulitzer came with a pay cut, so let's stop it right there.
And some cereal.
Well, it was just cereal was liked. None was ever produced.
That's two Pulitzer references today. Did I miss one? Because I came in kind of late.
No.
Well, you missed all the Pulitzers, Shawn. Okay. If you're trying to, but you did win the Pulitzer of sports writing for your fantastic series on the rhinos.
That's okay. We can keep it moving.
But we were, and then you interrupted. So
I was trying
as I may have said during room 7.
No, you're not going to solve the case. So what's next?
But this guy keeps, and he's always like, we're going to break, and he never does. I'm like, enough, stop it. But have you checked this one out, Marc? Is this worth listening to, or is it just more?
I've not checked out the podcast. Unsolved Mysteries has done a story on it. I mean, there's been a lot of stories done on it.
Our buddy Scott Lewis investigated it.
That's
I mean,
right.
There's a lot there, but no one has been able to close the circle. Lindsay says, and here we go, Shawn. On next week's Soul of Detroit, and now it's next week, especially if Windsor is in the studio, can you chat about the Steve Ballmer corruption scandal with the NBA's LA Clippers? Super rich NBA owner who grew up in Farmington Hills caught bribing his star player under the table to circumvent salary cap and rig his roster. Fraud, bribing, rigging, cheating, match fixing, whatever you want to call it. This should be one of the biggest scandals in American sports, but is being blacked out by media and soft-gloved by on-the-take sports talking heads in bed with pro sports and casinos. Ballmer's one of the richest men in the world. This scandal obviously damages both him and the reputation of the NBA in an era where billions are being gambled on games. We have 3 local NBA owners who could be asked about this, plus Windsor and Albemarle are prominent sports columnists, but I won't hold my breath for Freep to pick this up either. In my opinion, Ballmer should be forced to sell for this, but it seems the fix is in, and he will get off with a slap on the wrist to sweep this under the rug.
I don't understand the...
Curious to hear your takes.
I lost you when they said I was prominent. No.
I don't understand the gambling.
They were referring to your forehead.
What's
a Cro-Magnon forehead, as my wife used to like to say.
Could it be
How
that...
are games being fixed by it? I mean, it really looks like Ballmer gave him a no-show job for about $28 million to get him to sign with the Clippers, which was a bit of a surprise at the time when he signed with the Clippers. Most people thought he was going to be L.A., but I don't
Lakers.
know. I don't know. Yeah, Lakers. I'm sorry, but I don't know why it goes to match fixing. In other words, if they didn't have a salary cap, it'd be totally fine.
Could it be that having him on the team changes projected win totals for a season? Or I mean, I'm not a betting guy. But
he signed in the offseason. Now it's wrong. I mean, what he did was wrong.
Yeah, they tried to circumvent the salary cap.
Exactly, and that's really all it is about. But that's a big fucking deal. I mean, the other owners are going to be a little bit livid about that.
They are.
And now it's come out that his representatives had asked the Raptors, who are also owned by the Maple Leafs, for a stake in the Maple Leafs, and they laughed at him like, "We're not giving you ownership of the Toronto Maple Leafs for you to play for the Raptors. That's ludicrous." And then I guess one of the representatives was like, "Well, how about some sponsorship stuff, money you can throw at us?" Like, "Oh, we'll help you get sponsorships all you want." And then he's like, "No, Kawhi doesn't want to do any of the work though." So he was
looking for no-show work.
He was looking for no-show work, and it looks like he got it with the Clippers.
He didn't have as much leverage with Toronto because they just won not a national. They just won an NBA championship. Yeah. So they're like, hey, we've got that. We're good for the next 30 years,
But I don't think it means the sport is rigged or games are being fixed or anything like that. Not at all.
Well, it's good that billionaires aren't known for cheating.
Yeah, I know.
That's never happened. But
now you have other billionaires mad at him.
Yeah,
right?
well, so something will get done then, right? Because they're the ones who make shit happen in this country.
He'll probably get a nice hefty fine.
And there's no luxury tax in the NBA. It's a hard cap. You can't exceed it, no matter what.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think just baseball is a luxury tax, right?
By the way, what point does a billionaire's money become kind of like obscene?
Well, that's the thing with Ballmer too. Now, if he was forced to sell it,
have you seen the numbers of the growth in the last 3 years, 4 years? Mm-hmm. Musk. Some of these, Ellison maybe?
That terrible Larry Ellison.
Oh, he's awful.
You know how money gets obscene? When your fifth wife says, hey, give a couple $1 million so my favorite college team can sign a quarterback.
but the total...
couple million, 10 million.
But the total worth is starting
12.
to creep up to $500 billion, right? For some of these guys. Well, I mean, that's not...
You can't even wrap your head around it.
That's not sustainable for any kind of...
Shawn agrees with the Pope.
Well,
the Pope just came out and said that.
Because it's not. It's just not. I mean, it's not going to lead. Look, we're trying to get out of here. Sorry, it's just not going to lead us to any place that's good.
Yeah, take it easy, Karl Marx. But the thing with
there's a difference between capitalism and feudalism, I would think, which is where we're headed again.
It seems futile to try and move on, but I'm going to try anyway.
No. Let's go.
Feudal. I got you. Okay,
yeah,
sorry,
no,
but if the Clippers were sold.
Oh, we're back to that. Okay.
And I don't think they will be sold. That would be the second time an owner's been forced to sell it. And when you talk about how rich people are, I think the team was valued at like $1 billion, and Ballmer paid $2 billion without even flinching. And not too long after, I think Ishbia paid $4 billion or $3 billion for the Phoenix Suns.
Here's the one good thing about Ballmer being multi-billionaire is that when he wanted a new stadium, he paid for it and built it himself.
That's
Well,
Denver's going to do that with the Broncos.
Instead of taking
taxpayer
public
money.
funds.
So at least that's good.
And DCFC's doing that. I guess
this is good though.
I guess it turns out those guys are smarter than the Illiches.
So they're not all in.
And Fords.
I wouldn't say billionaires are inherently bad.
I'm not saying that at all.
I don't think you are. I think you're saying that comes a point
having
where
one person having that much money is not productive for society.
Well, I would agree.
And there's too much power, right? Unelected power.
They also live, I think, by the rule of how do you make a problem go away? Throw money at it.
Mm-hmm.
But But
Well,
I think
and
what
the influence
Lindsay,
of government. Yeah, we don't need to get into.
I think what
all that,
Lindsay
sorry.
is trying to get at here,
Thank you,
and,
Lindsay.
and Shawn is not taking the bait, is the free press afraid to write about this because he's a billionaire?
No, I haven't written in a few weeks. I mean,
so I'm not in the sports department, which means I pay for my own meals. But the thing is, he's not a Detroit guy anymore. He's an LA sports owner. We cover the shit out of the Red Wings, Tigers, Lions, Pistons, Spartans, Wolverines, everybody else. We don't have time to cover what's going on in L.A. So this isn't a matter of the free press being derelict in its duty. And I'll tell you what, Lindsay, if you want us to cover more of these big sports guys, do you have a subscription? Because until we get more subscribers, we're not going to have more reporters and we can't do more stories.
Don't
so if
scold her.
You're just snuffling it up for free.
Or him, sorry.
I don't know. The typing looks a little limp. I don't know, but anyway.
Oh, okay. So now we're going there.
It's all lowercase.
Do we call this a segment? Right? Is it about over?
It is now.
So, anyways,
we got to get to your gal here.
No, we wanted to see what Shawn's been up to. He's been on the DL. Afraid
people have missed him.
His anxiety about having to write about Steve Ballmer has crippled him. But in the meantime,
I was on vacation.
Tonys happened. No, the Emmys
Also.
happened.
The Tonys, that was summer.
Yeah, the Emmys happened. Actually, Sophie was in New York when the Tonys happened.
I hosted them, actually.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah, I was there, and I met a lot of great people, and I had a drink after. Water.
And Kanye didn't bum rush the stage?
No, and Will Smith did not slap me.
Anyone?
Not me. We're really good friends, actually. We go way back.
So
Not a bad story about him.
So you like award shows?
I love award shows.
Really?
I started doing. I just started. Well, last year I had the fun idea of doing an Oscars watch party with some of my friends, and I decided to do it again for the Emmys, and so.
Gotcha.
I was big on it this time.
You know, the big controversy coming out of the Emmys was the host, Nate Bargatze, who I like Nate. I think he's pretty good.
Oh, Sophie loves him.
That's what I was like.
No, his timing is great.
I'm obsessed with him. I was like, wait, I didn't even know he was hosting, and then I was making the invitations and saw that he was hosting.
And people are pissed, though, about his performance.
But it was funny.
Because they thought the opening sketch, which, wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad. I thought it was kind of a riff off of what he did on SNL.
See, I thought it was genius. I thought it was
really
okay.
funny. I didn't have a problem with it.
But
people are really pissed about the charity countdown money.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I thought that was fucking hilarious because I don't want to hear celebrities drone on and on thanking their publicists and their lawyers and stuff. So
And it's a really good commentary on when they're even told you're taking money away from kids. People are like, but let me talk about myself.
That's what's funny about
it's
it.
so crazy. And then at the end they're like, oh, just kidding. We had all the money the whole time.
Which you knew they were going to do that.
He's clever and his timing is great. I love his line about how he doesn't read and he doesn't know anything about history.
Yeah,
he watched Pearl Harbor on the edge of his seat.
Yeah, he's like,
waiting
who's gonna win?
What a relief.
I think he's great.
No, his delivery's fabulous.
Well, I'm watching The Man in the High Castle, and I'll tell you, in that version, we didn't win after Pearl Harbor. That's intense.
Oh, that show's only been out for 10 years.
I'm catching up.
Hey, we just watched...
it actually feels quite prophetic right now.
We just watched Succession. We just went
slow down.
Went through that, and by the last season, we could not wait to be done with it.
It's still on my list.
Why? Were you exhausted by it?
It's exhausting. There's
nobody to cheer for.
It's impossibly dark. I mean, it's fun. It's
I've
not
never
violent
seen it.
at all.
Do you recommend it? Because I saw the first
brilliant.
4 episodes, and I'm like, I don't care about any of this.
No, and you don't. And the writing's incredible. It's brilliant, and it's very insightful. It's also exhausting.
Did you know that the real life Succession ended last week too?
It did.
I saw that. Yeah.
Lachlan Murdoch.
I saw him sitting
got the Empire
in the suite with Roger Goodell.
Oh boy!
For the,
of course, Fox,
Phillies, Kansas City.
Yeah, that was probably a mistake.
And the NFL,
that,
boy, those are close. But yeah, Succession is one of those things where everybody is despicable, and so when something bad happens, but you don't feel bad. It's kind of, there's nobody to cheer for.
Well, if we'd watched it in real time over the 4 or 5 years that it ran, it would have been different. If you watched that show in a month, which is more or less what we did.
It's a lot.
And then you think about what's happening. Yeah, no, it was too much. So we watched a little masterpiece. Let's go back to PBS Masterpiece and slow down.
Oh, gross.
Well, you better watch it now. They've been they've been defunded.
We're gonna go get a cleanse.
Let's get them a Patreon too.
At the Hallmark.
Yeah.
Or how about the Hallmark Channel? Let's go cleanse ourselves over there.
Oh, it's the way to cleanse yourself is by watching Alien Earth on FX.
That's a great show.
The greatest goddamn show in the world.
It's so good. I've got to catch up on behind.
My kid started that and said it was not.
Oh, he's wrong.
It was not.
It's very interesting.
Sophie, straighten those Windsor kids out.
You know how much I love Fargo, right? I think Fargo is one of my favorite shows of all time.
It's amazing.
And Legion. So the showrunner of that, and the guy that wrote and directed that, is doing Alien Earth now, Josh Hawley. And I love the Alien films. There's nothing you can say that would deter me from thinking that's the greatest show out there right now. I love it.
It's great. Yeah.
It's so good. So good. It's not going to win an Emmy, though.
I'm still catching up on the original Alien.
Of course you are.
Fair enough.
No, it's good. It's very good.
Vintage.
It holds up.
So what's with the Walton Goggins love?
I just think that he's a beaming presence in pop culture. I don't know what it was, but his vibe, I don't know. That forehead, that hairline.
It's a pretty cool dude.
And I don't know why he's now a sex symbol, but I called it. I was like, he's really cool, and people are going to, I don't know what it is, but he's attractive. And then everybody thinks he's attractive now. And I said it one time.
All because of you.
Yeah.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
You're welcome.
Well, he's fit. He's in good shape.
He's funny. He's got a great personality.
He became a sex symbol with the White Lotus, though, easily.
I think it was before. With,
you do?
I think it was Changes. I think it was Uncle Baby Billy. I like that. He's oozing sex.
Are you shopping at Walmart now?
Get out, nerd.
I was close, but I'll be disowned by him if I shop at the Walmart. But
why? They have good deals.
They're anti-union.
But if Walton's supporting it, shouldn't it be if that is the Walton seal?
I know. Are you afraid he's burning himself out? Because
more
I feel
of a
like
target person.
I feel like he's.
And now you get stabbed.
I just think the rent is always due for everybody. Like he started off with $500 in his pocket in Los Angeles. That's what I learned in an interview. So he's constantly probably has that mindset of like I have $500 in my pocket, so let's get that Walmart.
Yeah.
Ad rolling.
I know, but the ad runs all
the time. I don't care. I'm like, I'm not going to Walmart.
They are kind of funny. I'll give him that. But one of the things I've always liked about him is they said, or he said that when he went out to Hollywood, obviously he wants to make it and you can't turn down a lot of jobs, but he was very careful about not wanting to be the stereotypical Southern guy where like, well, you got an accent. Why don't you come here and walk around like, and fall over with your overalls and shit. And
that sounded like a Looney Tunes.
Well, we already had Mr. Magoo on. We're doing the whole cartoon
That's what I was
thing.
gonna say.
But he's his diversity, the kind of roles he's taken, where he's been a hero, he's been a villain, he's been the dupe, he's been the mastermind, he's been funny. What?
A woman? What?
Yeah,
What was he a woman?
He's been a woman in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, I forgot about that show. It's another great show.
And he did a full-on method acting.
You like the outlaw shows? You like the outlaw shows, don't you?
I like good TV. Period.
Justified.
So I didn't watch Marc's favorite show, and I didn't watch the Emmys, but I think Marc's favorite show was nominated 24 times for Severance.
Oh, Severance, yeah.
Severance,
How did they do?
Yeah.
How did they do? So
Oh, they did great.
Okay.
I will me acting like I didn't. Disclaimer: I took a break from. I haven't watched all of everything because I was hosting. And
you can't host a party and not watch the show that you're supposed to be watching at the party.
It's streaming, so I have to finish. I had to take a break because I got stressed out from the hosting. Because anyone knows that hosting a party takes a lot of work. So, but I do know it did well, and I do know that I might need your Apple TV Plus so that I can also watch Severance.
Yeah, the woman that plays
she won
Helly won Best
Adolescence
Actress.
won too, right?
Adolescence took
won,
everything.
And I kept thinking of Sean because of how much he loves Stephen Grant.
Graham.
Yeah.
No, he's
not Stephen Grant.
No, that's a different.
Stephen Grant.
No, he's got
Stephen Graham described himself in one of his speeches as biracial. Is he biracial? And what races? Did no one else caught that?
Do we have his
maybe
license?
He runs the 50 and the 100. I don't
Well,
know.
I was thinking, what is he, Scottish and Irish? Is that
he's English and a Scouser, right?
Is that what it is? I don't know.
Well, that's
I swear he referenced being biracial where he grew up.
It's like you're being an American from Macomb County.
And the mother's maiden name?
With a better accent.
I know.
The mother's maiden name.
I'm just trying to get to know everything about him. So maybe I
that
can,
show is great, by the way.
Adolescence?
Yeah, it's a tough watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard it was crazy. I didn't watch it myself, but I heard it was crazy.
It's a really, really good show. It's a really easy. I mean, not easy because it's pretty.
It's really heavy.
It's very heavy, but it's easy in that it's only like 4 episodes and they fly by, and it's all one take, which is why I think it won a lot of stuff.
I was really embarrassed because I actually mixed it up with a Netflix original series called Heartstopper. That's about like gay high schoolers. So then I like.
Yeah, quite different.
Yeah, and then I was like, is that the gay show? And then everyone was like, that's what? And it's not. So out of context, I was going to get really canceled.
your dad's and mine's favorite show's about to come up with its next season here in a couple of weeks.
Shetland?
That too, but Slow Horses.
Oh, yes.
I was nominated.
Please, just make Gary Oldman do one wardrobe change for 3 seasons or 4 seasons. He's worn the exact same outfit each episode.
That show crackles.
I tried watching that, and then I think there's a scene in the very first episode where he's taking off his socks. I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. It's too gross.
Well, with all the...
He's one of the great characters of recent television history.
It was too gross.
With all the farting, I would have thought it'd be reminiscent of
never made it
having
that far.
Brand on here.
Yeah.
It doesn't take very long. This guy eats a lot of eggs, apparently.
Yeah.
But it's
good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you back, Shawn. I may not be here next week, so there's a little cliffhanger. I may dial
love
in
finding that out when everyone else does.
I don't think I'll be here next
Which
week.
brings our segue to the new host
I'll be
of
coming
ML
back from Baltimore.
Yeah.
If I can travel this weekend,
Introducing
which I'm
my
hoping
Nepo baby host.
I'm hoping to get back out on the road. I've had to skip a few trips here, but my next one's to Baltimore, so I will be coming back from Baltimore.
Oh, maybe it'll just be me.
Because the Lions are there Monday night.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe we'll get Keats out.
Yeah, get him back.
Put those sunsets.
Are you going to Nebraska?
I'm not going to Nebraska.
I'll probably be there too.
I think going to Oklahoma wore me out for the whole week last week.
Could we get Magoo on?
Yeah, I was sorry to miss that trip.
He could DJ. He could do a little record scratch.
Yeah.
But
where are you going to be next week?
I will be leaving
in a tent in Germany
for Oktoberfest
with a boot, with beer in the boot.
In Germany, and I will be making my triumphant return to Prague after a 34-year absence. No, 34-year absence. I think that's right.
I don't know if I'm allowed to return to Prague.
They'll be weeping.
Oh, really?
I've told you that story.
Yeah, he told us on the air. He told us.
Blacked out at you fleck you. Mm-hmm.
That's
I'll
on
be
the
going
Patreon.
Yeah, there you go.
That's our next bonus episode. And a cooking segment. So
well, hopefully the internet works there, and you can maybe, connect.
I think it'll work in Germany. I think everything works over there, right? It's like it's eins fast, it's Wieten.
So you have no excuse to miss the show then.
I'll be on a plane, I think. But
they have internet on planes now too.
I guess I'll be back next week.
I kind of want you to do the show from the plane.
Yeah, do it
just to see how annoying it gets to everybody around you.
Do it.
Yeah, if you don't mind the screaming baby over my shoulder.
No, I'll be sleeping. I assume. No, not at that time.
The analytics are like, why did it tank that week? Oh, that was the one where he was on the plane.
You're not gonna. You won't be on a plane then, will you?
Okay,
Nobody flies in the morning.
If I can do the show from a car on the way to Mackinac, I'll probably be here next Tuesday.
I'm just trying to make it difficult for you.
But who else will be?
Ooh, what a hook!
Tune in and find out. And until next week, we tell our friend Cyrus, take us out.
Can you dig that? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
The spotlight found you again.
Howdy, folks.
You can take it anywhere you want.
Childwood's
It's nothing personal. I just happen to hate your stupid face.
I really need to get my shit together.
Oh, welcome to the club, my young friend. Welcome to the club.
Move your big ass!
You think I'm ever going to be remembered for anything except for the worst moments of my life? You're brutal
MLL
to the day you die.
It's the soul of Detroit.
For the record, Sambuca tastes better on the way out, folks.